I want to welcome you to today's MSME clinic. And everyday entrepreneurs, enterprises are confronted with different issues that they need to be able to concentrate with a view of solving them. And that's what makes us to think about the fact that we have to have an MSME clinic to be able to address all these issues. So as you follow up on all our social media handles, if your issues become such an issue that you need to reach out to us, please do feel free to do that. So today, we're going to be dealing with a very important concept in business, which has to do with product production and productivity. Okay? So a lot of people, when they hear the word productivity, it confuses them a bit. And that's why we decide to say, let us bring you an enlightenment around this area. Okay? So we're going to be talking about 9 relationships between product production and productivity. And I tell you, once you're able to harness all this, then you'll be able to take your product to the next level. Okay? So relationship between product production and productivity is fundamental aspect of economic and business analysis. Whether your business is making progress or your business is moving on to the next level is dependent on your ability to understand some of these concepts. So by a way of definition, product production refers to the process of creating goods and services. Okay? Creating goods and services. Every business must have a product, it must have a service that it's rendering. Okay? And that's the fundamental reason why you are in business. So when you talk about productivity, you are mostly talking about efficiency. How efficient is your operation? Okay? It talks about the relationship between input and output. Okay? Your production of your output and how it relates to the input that you're using to be able to produce that output at the end of the day. And I tell you, essentially, once you are able to marry this concept together, your business will definitely move on. So there are 9 areas that we'll be looking at of a relationship between product production and productivity. So number 1 is efficiency and output. Okay? So we take your output now and we try to see how efficient you are in the production. So productivity measures how efficient your resources are being utilized in the production process. Okay? Higher productivity implies that you have been able to integrate your output using the necessary input to be able to get that output out, to be able to get your necessary output out. So what is the relationship between the input? How are you able to combine your input to be able to generate that output that you so require? So efficiency and output talks about productivity measure that relates efficiency resources are used to utilize in the production process. Higher productivity implies that more output is generated with the same amount of fewer inputs. Efficient use of resources can lead to increased product production at the end of the day. Okay? So generally, for you to have your output, you must be able to combine few input to be able to get higher output at the end of the day. So once you are able to achieve this, then you are said to be generally efficient in your output of production. Okay, so number 2 talks about cost and profitability. Okay, so the number 1 we talked about output, but this time around we are focusing on cost. Okay, improving productivity often results in cost savings when businesses produce more with the same resources. They can reduce per unit production costs. This can enhance productivity and in turn be able to support increased productivity at the end of the day. So we often talk about the fact that if you need to increase your profits, one of the things you need to do is to increase your revenue stream. Okay? So the number 2 thing you need to do is to reduce your costs. And the number three things you do is to do a combination of those two. Okay? So we move on to the third one now. So we're going to be talking about number three. And in number three, looking at the relationship between product production and productivity, number three has to do with innovations and technology. What technology are you deploying? Okay, so technology today is the name of the game. Okay, for you to be able to have increased productivity, you must be able to get the appropriate machines for you to be able to deploy, for you to have that higher output, for you to be able to have efficiency in your production. So technology talks about advances in technology, and innovations can boost productivity by enabling more efficient production processes through automation. Okay, from end to end, is your process automated so that there is no destruction? Today, people talk about artificial intelligence. People talk about robotics. Robotic, is such a way that you customize your process that from the time you input your input to the time it gets to the output, the process becomes so seamless. Okay, so innovation and technology is critical. Okay, so improve machineries and better organized practices can help you to boost your production at the end of the day. So we now look at quality of your outputs. Okay, so the world now is a competitive market. So when you say the world is competitive, the quality of your output will determine whether you are able to sustain yourself in the marketplace. So quality of output, productivity improvement should lead to, there should not be compromise. Okay, such at the end of the day, you are able to have produce a higher quality of goods that will enable you to compete favorably in the market. And of course, you talk about labor productivity, which is similar to output productivity. Okay, so in many instances, many institutions, the ability for you to combine your labor, okay, between product production and productivity, it's closely tied to the fact that labor productivity through training, skill development, and ability to be able to get motivated workforce can contribute to higher labor productivity. Okay, so and I tell you that human resource component of any business is the most critical component. So how are you able to combine labor, resulting in increased product production? Then of course you talk about the sixth one, which has to do with the economics of scale. Okay, higher levels of productions can lead to economic of scale, whereby the average cost per unit decreases in production, thereby leading to increase in output. This is often associated with the fact that if you have an increased productivity, and that can be able to drive greater product productions at the end of the day. So from number three, we talked about innovations and technology. Then we talked about quality of your output at the end of the day. And of course, we talk about labor productivity and economics of scale. So we look at the last three as we come to understanding the relationship between product production and productivity at the end of the day. Okay, so efficiency has to do with how you are able to combine your resources. Okay, to be able to do higher productivity at the end of the day. Sometimes, most times, you talk about efficiency and you talk about effectiveness. Effectiveness in business is the line of your vision. Is are you able to get your desired output at the end of the day? That's what makes you effective at the end of the day. Where efficiency talks about the combination of your input for you to be able to arrive at higher output at the end of the day. So we take a look now at number 7 from here. So looking at number 7, by way of rounding up, like I mentioned to you, there are about 9 relationships between product production and productivity. Okay, so number 7 talks about supply chain management. Okay, how are you getting your raw material to be able to feed into your factory for you to be able to get that desired output at the end of the day? So supply chain has become disrupted over time as a result of inconsistency in the suppliers. Okay, so when we talk about supply chain management, we are looking at efficient supply of the supply chain management is crucial for productivities and productivity. Okay, streaming through the flow of material informations and increases that can be able to improve overall efficiency and contribute to the bottom line, which is the output at the end of the day. So where is your supply chain and how are you managing it? Where are you getting your source of raw materials from? All these are crucial and important towards you being able to have higher productivity as an entrepreneur. Then, of course, you talk about number 8, which has to do with time management. Okay? So today, people are giving you appointments. Okay? Are you able to meet up with that appointment? People are giving you orders to be able to supply. Are you able to meet up with those timelines? So time management is critical for you to be able to take your product from the point of production to the point of output and being able to improve on it and having an efficient production system. So when you talk about time management, you are talking about productivity improvement often involve better time management, reducing production cycle time. Okay, somebody gives you a span of time. So what we normally advise at this other end, and even it's going to take you 2 days to be able to meet up with that order, what the advice will be is for you to give 3 days, so that if anything happens, if there's a breakdown in machinery and in other machinery, you will still be able to meet up. Okay, and don't forget that if you have challenges with time, always communicate to your client that, look, I do have a challenge and I want you to understand with me. Okay, so lying in business will not take you anywhere. So we move on to the last one, which has to do with environmental impact. Okay, the relationship between product production and productivity also extends to environmental considerations, sustainable practices, and resources. Efficient production methods can be deployed to be able to contribute to both the increase in productivity and responsible production processes. So the environment to which you are producing for. These days, the world is talking about climate change. The world is talking about how are you able to continue in your production practices. Okay, such that 10 years from now, 100 years from now, you are still in business. And today, you go to America, you are seeing companies that have been celebrating 100 years of existence. Okay, so all this you must factor in to see, look, how do we look at the impact of the environment and sustainability for us to be able to continue in production and to, of course, remain in production. So, by a way of summary, don't forget we're looking at the relationship between production and productivity, and we have itemized about 9 of them. So, in summary, relationship between production process or production product productions and productivity is very, very symbolic. If you improve in productivity, it will lead to increased product productions and through cost savings by being able to make savings in your cost and overall business successes. So these are very important by way of the itemization we have done for the 9 areas of relationship. Then it requires a holistic approach, okay, that we have to do with technology. We have mentioned technology. That has to do with human capital deployment, and of course, we talk about efficient resource management. So if you're able to combine all this, you are on the side of making your product to the market and be able to be competitive, and at the end of the day, you will stand out tall. So don't forget, product, it's what you render to the market, and productivity talks about efficiency. That is, are you able to combine the same input to have greater output? Once you do this, I tell you, your productivity will improve and you are in the line of remaining and sustaining yourself in the marketplace. So do have a great day.